More Canadians come to America than tourists from any other country. Last year, Canadians made over 20 million visits to the U.S. and spent more than $20 billion here. But this year, many are not coming to America, as I saw firsthand on a recent trip to Vermont, right near the Canadian border. In a normal summer, the Kingdom Trails in Vermont's Northeast Kingdom, near the Quebec border, would be teeming with Canadian bikers. But Executive Director Abby Long says this season has been a rough ride.
We've seen a 50% decline in our Canadian members.
25 miles away at Hill Farmstead Brewery, business is off by a third.
We just had a large festival last weekend, and 50 or 60 of the ticket holders just did not come.
Last year, 20 million Canadians visited the U.S. That's over a quarter of all the tourists who come here. But in June, car crossings to America dropped by 33%. That's the sixth consecutive month of decline. Air travel has also plummeted. So why are Canadians staying away?
Frankly, Canada should be the 51st state.
Most offensive to northern neighbors like Julie Morrison has been President Trump's rhetoric.
This threat of annexation by, this very powerful militarized ally, we took it very, very seriously. And honestly, it's frightening.
Morrison has happy memories of her many American vacations, but now she's staying home.
We don't have a lot of tools. And, tourism is one of the tools that we have.
I feel that I've been slapped across the face by this president.
Quebecer Harold White has vacationed in Maine for the last 6 decades. This year, he canceled his annual trip.
And I have many U.S. friends, American friends, that I will not be seeing in person for a while because of this. But c'est la vie, as we say here in Quebec.
Jay Peak is a mountain resort just a few miles south of the border. In wintertime, typically half their season pass holders are Canadian, most of them French-speaking Quebecois. That's clear even in summertime.
The signage that we have here is mostly all bilingual.
General Manager Steve Wright has proof
I have the maple leaf here.
That the bonds here run deep.
My dad is Canadian.
Literally in your blood.
Big connection, not just the dollars and the cents, but the DNA.
Even so, as the ski season wound down here and it came time to renew, many longtime Canadian season pass holders said no.
We are 30 to 35% off.
And you're sure that this is overall their antipathy to what's coming out of the White House?
Well, yeah, as much as I guess you can be sure of anything. I called 100 households myself, Canadian households who had purchased season passes last year by this point, who have not yet purchased.
You called them directly?
I called them directly, personally. I got through to probably 70% of them. And to a household, they referred back to the 51st state narrative as being emblematic of the reason that they're not coming.
Other areas of the resort have also been hit.
We've already seen 30% of our Canadian golf groups cancel. We do 42 weeks worth of hockey tournaments. We're expecting that business to be off upwards of 40% by the end of the year.
Tourism across this northern part of Vermont is dependent on Canadians, yet they are nowhere to be found.
Normally, the Vermont highways in summertime are full of cars with Canadian license plates. Here we are in summer on the road. We haven't seen any.
Their absence affects even non-tourism businesses.
What's devastating is when they come, there's an economic impact to our community. Towns will benefit positively.
Because they eat and shop and sleep and...
Gallons of maple syrup.
At Hill Farmstead Brewery, the Canadian beer enthusiasts who have come this year have spent less.
The tariff situation means that someone buying beer from us, just coming for the day, they'll pay not just the provincial tax, but they will now pay a 25% additional tariff. They're paying 43% above cost to bring beer back. And that
your beer is delicious, but I'm sorry, that might be a real deterrent.
It is a real deterrent.
And it's not just Americans who are feeling the pinch. Just steps across the U.S.-Canada border in Quebec, Philippe Bachon's duty-free shop should be bustling this time of year.
But right now, it's very disappointing.
Bachon says Canadian business is down close to 50%. For now, he's squeaking by.
We did not lay off anybody, but we need to be careful in ordering and all that.
But smaller duty-free shops along the border are on the brink.
4 to 6 stores are planning to. If it's going on, they will close by fall.
To close for good.
Yeah, after 30, 40 years of existing. We're here on the border with our little white flag, and it's not because of bad management that we're in that situation. It's because of politics.
In Burlington, Vermont, outdoor store owner Mike Donahue says they're doing what they can to entice their northern neighbors to return.
Church Street, which is the pedestrian marketplace, is being renamed Through Canada or Canada Street to show our solidarity with our Canadian neighbors.
At Kingdom Trails, Abby Long has her own idea.
Free Mountain Bike Day, Free Canada Day, where we shout to the rooftops how much we love them and encourage them to come. And if they do choose to come, there'll be a day in their honor, a free day.
Jay Peak offers so-called at-par pricing.
We price, obviously, all of our products in U.S. currency, but we allow Canadians to buy in Canadian currency, so they get the benefit of the exchange.
But all these efforts may not be enough. Canadian Harold White is spending his money elsewhere.
I'm just back from a lovely trip to Spain, and my wife and I went on a 5-hour drive east of Quebec City in the mountains off the St. Lawrence River. It's a trip that we would not necessarily have done if we had gone to the U.S. For our usual vacation.
Canadian Julie Morrison grew up going to Vermont.
My family has owned property in Vermont all my life. I learned to ski in Vermont when I was like 3 years old. We hiked the Long Trail. I mean, it's so beautiful.
And yet her family has now resolved to sell their home there.
The process of selling this property for my entire family has been extremely difficult emotionally. It's almost like we have to mourn this moment.
Back at Hill Farmstead Brewery, Bob Montgomery sympathizes with the Canadian boycott.
We actually admire it.
Really?
To be
Even though it's got an economic blow to your bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. Our first outreach is we completely understand, and we look forward to you visiting again when you're ready to visit again.
In the meantime, tourist-dependent businesses will just try to ride it out. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm William Brangham in northern Vermont.